Hi guys, my name is Callie, and if you know me, you know I always find something controversial to talk about. It's kind of my thing. As a theater major, Broadway is something that is extremely important to me. I'm sure many of you would agree, especially the other theater majors in the class. Making our way to Broadway to be on stage is hard enough, but getting a ticket could be even harder. Personally, I've never even been to New York, and I've never seen a show on Broadway. I've only seen one Broadway show live, and it was The Lion King at the Fox. I went with the school, so there was a deal on tickets. While trying to score tickets to see Dear Evan Hansen or Hamilton, I quickly discovered that even the cheap seats weren't so cheap. Some of the cheapest seats still ranged up into the 200s in terms of price. That struck me as a little ridiculous. I decided to write it off as one of those things and let it go, grumbling the whole time. However, as I was reading our textbook, in Chapter 24, page 543, it mentions the rise in ticket prices from 1997 to 2007. According to Brockett, the top tickets in 1997 were roughly $75, and by 2007, the top tickets were selling for $250. Now, if I count for inflation, I know the ticket prices would have naturally gone up to about $100. It shows get more complicated and equipment gets more advanced, but for the price to shoot up all the way to $250, this alerts me to a problem. Now, because I can't leave well enough alone, I decided to look into it. According to a chart from Statista.com, the average cost to attend a musical in a regular seat in 2007 was around $78. In 2017 and 18, this jumps up to $125. I don't know about you, but I can't afford that with my college student budget. It's very frustrating to not be able to see a show that means so much to you because of the cost of the show. Another thing that seriously frustrates me is that while theater, musical theater especially, capitalizes on the struggles of minorities, people who are differently abled or mentally ill, or those who financially struggle, those people whose stories that they are using are being shut out of the very shows they helped inspire, simply because they cannot afford it. Take Hamilton, for example. I love the show, don't get me wrong, but according to BusinessInsider.com, the show brings in a profit of roughly $1.5 million a week. And after paying rent and royalties and other expenses, this show rakes in about $500,000 a week. There are tickets currently selling for $1,143 to see this show on Broadway. This is a show that is pro-immigration, preaches equality of the races and sexes, and discusses the plight of those who are poor. And yet, it is charging so much for tickets that the people it's written for will never be able to see it live. Those people that need to see it benefit so greatly from being involved in the arts and seeing shows like this. Access to the arts is essential to young people. According to AATE.com, students who were involved in theater scored higher on the SAT with an average of 65.5 higher on verbal components or 35.5 higher on math components. Theater is a place where those who are different are given the tools and, most importantly, the chance to thrive. This summer I had the opportunity to see this in action as I worked with the Georgia College Theater Camp and directed Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with a cast of 15 wonderful and unique kids. I could see how it was affecting them every day. They would come in and be a little more confident with the characters that they could create on stage. Watching the other group perform gave them a joy that I don't think that they get otherwise. Theater capitalizing on the struggle of the marginalized while simultaneously denying them entrance to the things they inspire is wrong and makes for Broadway becoming an elitist activity. Let me tell you how it works. According to TheAtlantic.com, the admission prices have gone up about a fifth since the recession, and one of the reasons this is happening is the same reason that's rumored to be behind exorbitant gas prices. Hike up the price, and the people will still pay. Those who are wealthy will pay anything, and producers caught wind of this quickly and continue to raise prices. Because our country is broken and only caters to those who will only become richer, this trend continues. Prices will continue to rise as long as those with money, the 1%, keep paying, and effectively keep the rest of us little guys out of the theater altogether. Now, it wasn't always this way. As we learned in this class, once again in our textbook by Brockett, theater itself used to be festivals where people could come together with their friends and see shows written by local playwrights. It was a social gathering that didn't leave people out simply because they couldn't afford it. As a young person who grew up in a not-so-wealthy household, it's very disheartening to want a career in something I've never truly been able to experience. Theater has such a special place in my heart, but I'll never be able to afford to see any of the shows because the ticket prices start at the same cost as half or all of my rent. Theater is a cost and demand industry, but it shouldn't be. According to AATE.com, about 93% of Americans agree that the arts are important, but less than that obviously act on it. The way to make theater less of a cost and demand system is to make it more important to the public, and this is a change that would have to start with society as a whole valuing the arts more.